This is wild. The Florida Panthers, aka the Calgary Flames' favorite trade partner, are in a tough spot with their number one center out injured for what could be all of this season. Enter the Flames, who have a number one center that has been circulating in trade rumors for a long time. Could Nazem Kadri be shipped off to the Sunshine State? We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Before we get into the trade rumors with Kadri, we got to talk about last night's game as the preseason, of course, continued. The Flames had a bit of a tougher matchup against Winnipeg as the Flames were playing a really young roster, guys, trying to make the team, whereas the Jets had a lot of vets, the Jets and the vets, and it was a 4-2 loss for the Flames, which honestly, again, isn't a terrible result for a pretty much all AHL team against pretty much all NHL team. There were a few guys in there like Zary. Coronato actually got hurt in this one. It won't be a bad injury at all. I think he took a puck to the ear and he'll be totally fine, but for precautionary reasons, of course, took him out. Probably won't play for the rest of the preseason now. But anyway, 4-2. Devin Cooley was probably the main story coming in. Is he going to get a good shot? And yes, he did give up 4 goals, but honestly, he didn't play all that bad. If we get into the box score, he gave up 4 goals on 29 shots, which again, you'd think, holy crap, this guy sucks. An .862 save percentage, a 4.14 goals against average. He must have done terribly. You really can't fault him for a lot of these goals. Gridden and Perek both got goals. Our 2024 first rounders shining once again, both proving that they deserve to play at the NHL level. Frosty got 2 assists. He has had a great preseason so far. Hopefully that translates to the regular season. Pahal gets an assist. And Karen stays hot, also, vowing for a spot on the team at the NHL level with another assist. I know the -2 isn't fantastic, and it wasn't a perfect game, but honestly, he didn't play too bad. And Ryan Pike kind of put it best. He put Flames lose 4-2 in Winnipeg. Tough to fault Devin Cooley too much on the goals. Even though that's the case, I still think he starts with the Wranglers. As much as he was trying to be Wolf's backup, I think Prosvetov essentially has that locked up. But Rory Cairns, Matvey Gridden, and Zane Perek were bright spots, which is fantastic to hear. That's what we wanted. Yes, it was a loss. Yes, it doesn't matter. And yes, there were some bright spots, which is fantastic. But let's get into the cream of the crop here. Let's get into this Kadri to Florida rumor, which is kind of nuts. We've heard Kadri rumors for almost his entire tenure with the Flames. Recently he was linked to the Stars by Jeff Merrick, and now Gurpal Singh here has written that could Nazem Kadri be a trade target for the Florida Panthers. So being linked to a team that we have obviously made trades with before, and it has worked out wonderfully for the Panthers, not for us, of course. But let's get into this one. I won't go over the whole thing, but let's see. So with the start of the 2025-26 NHL regular season just around the corner, trade rumors are bound to pick back up again. The Flames will always be a team linked to rumors, suggesting that the team's veterans could be on the move. Among those players is Kadri. He's honestly second place in the trade rumor saga, compared, of course, to Rasmus Andersson. Now, Kadri is turning 35 in October, and while he has liked his time as a Flame so far, he wants to win and is eager to get back into the playoffs. However, that likely isn't the reality for the Flames right now, which is why rumors surrounding a Kadri trade have been loud. And that might be a little harsh. The Flames are definitely a team that could win now. I mean, we'll get into the playoffs now. I don't know if they're cup contenders. I want them to be. I have my fingers and toes crossed, but we'll have to see, of course. Now, while a Kadri trade includes a lot of aspects, moving him for the right package would make sense. And a lot of you guys say that in the comment section of this channel. As for teams, several have been mentioned, but a recent suitor may have emerged. The Florida Panthers have recently received devastating injury news surrounding their captain and Alexander Barkov, and if the team gets desperate, could Kadri be a player they look to target? Spicy stuff. So the Panther season, of course, has changed for the worse. So as mentioned above, the Flames have received some pretty the Panthers have received some pretty grim injury news surrounding Barkov. During one of the team's practices, Barkov would suffer an injury and would have to be helped off the ice. It was later determined that he suffered an ACL and MCL injury, and his minimum recovery period would be 7 to 9 months, essentially ruling him out for the upcoming regular season. Could always come back for the playoffs. A team always does that every year. I know it's different with, trying to get teams not to do cap circumvention, but this is a legitimate injury, as we know. So overall, it is interesting. But to kind of salvage that, maybe they need a number one center. So enter Nazem Kadri. With the Panthers now without their top line center for this season, that leaves a huge hole down the middle. If the team is desperate, they'll want to potentially look for a replacement. Could Kadri be on their list of potential trade targets? Let's strictly talk about the oh my goodness, the fit first before we talk numbers. I'm struggling to read today. In my opinion, Kadri would fit like a glove in Florida's system, not to mention the team is a proven winner, and you know that's important to him. While Kadri does have a full NMC, no movement clause, would he agree to waive it to go to Florida? I mean, why wouldn't he? They're a contender, a tax-free state, and have nice weather year-round. They've also won the last 2 Stanley Cups. I'm sure Florida is an amazing place for NHL players to retire, and Kadri isn't getting any younger. A little harsh there, but it is the truth. So what assets do the Panthers have to offer for Kadri? That's what we care about as Flames fans. Kadri isn't going to come cheap, especially to a team that has fleeced us before. He should just, essentially give us back Tkachuk, really, for a trade like this. But either way, Kadri isn't going to command a huge haul, but his return should still be significant, especially if he continues playing at a strong level. With that in mind, what assets would the Flames potentially want from the Panthers in return for Kadri? I already said it. Just give us Tkachuk back, equal trade. Draft picks of note. The Panthers have 2 2026 seconds, a 2027 second, a 2028 first, and a 2028 second. So not exactly fantastic. Prospects, honestly, just a huge question mark. For draft picks, the Panthers have those ones we just said, and they also have some mid-round picks, so it's not fantastic. As for prospects, it's bleak. The Panthers have nobody of note or somebody that sticks out as having true NHL upside, so if Kadri were to be traded to Florida, the Flames would likely aim for a combination of draft picks, I guess. I mean, perhaps the package begins with Florida's 2028 first-round pick and includes a mid-round pick of some kind. I'm not sure that would tempt the Flames, to be honest, as I believe other teams would likely come up with a better package. True. So final thoughts. Would Kadri make sense for the Panthers? On paper, he would be a great fit and lessen the impact of losing Barkov, but the logistics behind it don't add up. There's cap space issues as well that I didn't even go over with for the Panthers side of things. So truthfully, I'm not sure Florida is willing to commit to a 34-year-old who has 4 years left making $7 million. Also with the cap situation the Panthers are in, I don't see how they would make it work of bringing Kadri in. I see it more as a cap issue than wanting to bring Kadri in, because you bring Kadri in even at 4 years, that keeps your window open for 4 years essentially, but only if you can make the cap space work, of course. As for the Flames, Florida likely doesn't have the assets to tempt the team enough to move Kadri. I still believe that the team should shop him, but there are probably other teams out there that have way better packages to offer and that are better in cap situations. Of course, expect Kadri's name to continue popping up in trade rumors, as his status on the team will always be in question if the Flames are not competitive. And that's what it really boils down to for all of these veterans. You can throw guys in there like Coleman as well. So it's overall interesting. I just don't see it making any sense, to be honest. I think it's almost vile to think of Kadri in a Panthers sweater. It's just, we've already given them so much, and we don't need him to help them win again, unless, of course, it's to help them beat Edmonton in the final. But fingers crossed Edmonton doesn't make it to the final this year, so we'll see. Let me know what you think. Is Kadri to Florida even possible? Would you rather keep him around, or would you rather trade him somewhere where they can actually give us a good trade package back? Feel free to let me know down in the comments. And speaking of comments, let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. It comes from yesterday's video, of course, and it's a good comment here from Just My Opinion about Rasmus Andersson. He says, I'm not opposed to Raz staying. I have always thought he was one of the most underrated D-men out there, but if he stays, we have to move some defensemen out to make room for Zane Parekh and Hunter Brustevich. And that just is true. A lot of people think Andersson is kind of blocking those guys from getting, a number one pairing spot, and it's kind of true. But yes, there's other guys that can be moved out for sure. Guys like Miramanov, guys like Bean, and more. So those guys aren't, a total log jam, but Andersson is slightly in the way, I guess we can say, but we're not opposed to keeping him around either. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.